What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show. The NBA draft is June 23rd, 2022, and the Portland Trailblazers continue to be successful in their quest to wallow for Paulo. The Blazers lose their 7th straight, 10th out of 11 games, and they are rocketing to the top of the draft board. They end up losing this game 113 to 103. Eric, what are your thoughts on this masterful losing performance? The Blazers have mastered losing at this point, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I just want to, unlike what the Blazers preached all training camp, accountability, right? I'm going to hold myself accountable right here. I was flat out wrong about this team. They absolutely suck. I'm embarrassed for them. I'm embarrassed that they actually think they're good and that I thought they were good. This team absolutely sucks. They should embrace taking. And, so far, the coaching's fraudulent. They're not doing anything that they promised they were going to do. The team just doesn't give a crap. And it's pissing me off, and it's sad when you and I probably care more, or it seems like it cares more than this team right now, and it's really frustrating to watch. And they just continue to do the same things every single game to lose, and it never gets better, it never changes. It's just sad, and the worst part about it is, if they played the right way, I still feel like this is a good team and that they could be good. And they've had a little bit of, bad luck with injuries and stuff, but so is almost every other team. Teams have been ravished with the health and safety protocols, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not using that as an excuse because they were playing like crap at times before that too. But this far into the season, they should not be still making these elementary mistakes. And they don't know how to play basketball, man, and it's just sad to watch because what's going to happen. The team's just going to pressure them a little bit, and they're going to fall apart, and then they're going to give up a bunch of threes, and then they're not going to get good shots on offense, and it's the same thing every freaking game, and I'm sick of it. And it's I made the mistake of thinking that this team would want to win, and quite frankly, I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that they even it doesn't seem to bother them that much, and they keep saying, "Oh, it'll be fine, we'll be fine," but I don't really see them getting mad about the way they play or anything like that, and it's aggravating. So my mistake was thinking that these players would actually respond to having a new coach and maybe thinking this is their last chance to actually do something with this unit. So it absolutely needs to be changed. And I still feel like if they had the right mindset and played the right way, they'd be fine, and we wouldn't even be in this problem right now. But unfortunately, you can't change any of that. And then that combined with Dame can't shoot the ball this year for some reason. And it's too bad. This situation could get out of control fast, and at this point, I'm almost ready to say let it just get as far out of control as possible. Because here's what's going to happen, Tori. They're going to start to figure things out. They're going to freaking go on a run around the All-Star break. They're going to squeeze into the play-in game, probably win that and get the 8th seed, lose their draft pick, and then they're going to lose in 4 or 5 games to whatever team they face in the first round, and that's going to be their season. And then they can say, "Oh, we made the playoffs again 9 straight years, right?" That's probably what's going to happen. They're still not very far out of things. There's still a bunch of teams bunched up in front of them. I don't have any faith with them at this point that they're going to do anything. And they need to make a move. I don't care what it is. Just, make a freaking move, dude. Do something. It's driving me crazy. This team just – there's something missing. It's lacking something. And, I don't want to pick on the guy, but Rocco's got to go, man. Or don't play him. Like, play Greg Brown, play Trendon Watford. I don't even care at this point. Like, if you're gonna sit there and watch someone make mistakes for 30 minutes a game, I'd rather it be a rookie that has a chance of actually improving throughout the year instead of someone who's just given up on the season.
Yeah, I mean, we got to trade Rocco as fast as possible. Dude, like, it's bad when Robert Covington gets blown by off the dribble by Killian Tilly. And I'm a Gonzaga fan. I've said that a million times, right? But, like, I love Killian Tilly. He's a Gonzaga Bulldog. But if you're getting blown by off the dribble by Killian freaking Tilly, and you're supposed to be a defensive guy, a borderline all-defensive team caliber defender, and you've fallen off from that to this, oh my goodness, he was awful tonight. He got 3 steals and 2 blocks, right? So that's good. But, dude, I mean, Eric, you hit it on the nail, like, and it's funny because I, like, saw this, but I didn't really think about it until you pointed it out a few streams ago, but Rocco absolutely, like, chases steals, and not in a way where he, like, chases passing lanes, because he's not, like, super quick, right? But he absolutely does let guys go by him, don't make an effort to stay in front of him, and then try to reach around and strip the ball. And it's just lazy and it's pathetic. And it's a perfect example of the problem with this team mentally, right? Like, this team mentally is screwed. They're screwed. I have no hope left for this season because this team mentally has, Dame says we won't fold, but there are too many guys on this roster that I feel like have folded. And Robert Covington is supposed to be the guy that, like, does the little things, and does the dirty work, and plays good defense. I mean, we saw it last year. Like, he was solid. He was very good defensively last year. Get him the hell out of Portland. Get him gone right now. Like, I can't watch Rocco keep doing the crap that he does, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. We can talk about that more in a second, but you said a lot that I want to touch upon.
Yeah.
I
just want to say you touched on part of the problem. Dame's not going to fold. Dame's not going to give up, and I respect the hell out of that. That's why I love Dame. But it's almost like this season, if he just embraced giving up and giving into this is just not our year, man. So I don't want to compare it to the Golden State situation because Golden State, people say, do what Golden State did. Look what they did. They tanked for 2 years and look how much better they got. They didn't get better because they tanked. They made good moves, but Wiseman's given them nothing. Kuminga and Moody they've come in and played a few minutes in games, and Kuminga had some nice moments last night or whatever, but it's not like they're, 20-5 or whatever they are this year because of Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman. Like, if they weren't on the team, they'd probably still be close to 20-5, if not the same record, right? Yeah. So it's not because they tanked. But in our situation, if we can add a pick and we pick someone who's not going to not play for like 2 years, like Wiseman hasn't really played, but if we pick the right person, it could absolutely get this team back on track.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that. I want to wait to maybe get there because there's still a couple things that you said in your intro monologue that I want to touch upon. But as far as Golden State goes, I don't think their roster that they're putting out on the court every night is all that good. They just play the right way. They play a really good brand of basketball, and it gets them really good shot attempts. It gets them lay-ins for mediocre players like Kevon Looney and Juan Toscano-Anderson. You know what I mean? Like, their offense is run the right way. And you got guys who have always been like shot chuckers and scorers and don't look to pass, like Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. And they have bought in on playing that brand of basketball offensively, and then defensively they get after that. And they're led by Draymond Green. And, I mean, I said it at least 10 streams ago, 10 post-game shows ago, like, we need a dog on this team. We need somebody to be the competitive leader of this team because this team doesn't have a competitive enough attitude. And even I, when I was saying that, didn't think it would get this bad. So that's the thing with us, Eric, is like, I don't know. I wish we could see this roster at full strength, fully buying into playing the right brand of basketball. And I just don't understand why the Warriors can run the offense they do with Steph, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, and Draymond Green, right? Because Jordan Poole's not a good passer. Andrew Wiggins isn't really a good passer. Kevon Looney isn't a good passer. But look at the way they run their offense. Like, why can't we do that with Dame, CJ, Norm, Nance / Rocco, and Nurkic? Like, I don't understand why we can't, but it's, I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer. I mean, some of it is Chauncey, but some of it is I just think, I don't know, dude. Like, I can't even explain it. I'm glad you brought up Golden State as a comparison, because it's just like I don't know why. Like, we played a bad style brand of basketball last year, and then we brought in a coach who's like, oh, I'm going to get them playing the right brand of basketball, and we got worse.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, I mean, Chauncey's failing to get this team to play the way he said he wanted to. Connor had a great analogy. So far, this is 100% true. Chauncey's a politician, man. Give all these campaign promises, and then when you get into office, you don't do any of them, right?
Yeah.
It's typical politician. And so until Chauncey stops being all talk and starts actually getting this team to play the way he expects it to be, and this is how you do that. You know, we go 8 minutes without scoring or something like that in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Put in CJ Ellaby, Kelvin Blevins, Trendon Watford, Greg Brown. Just put all them in. Say, all you guys sit down and watch the rest of this quarter. I don't give a crap if we lose this game. This is unacceptable, right? And, you know, he didn't do that. You know, we come back and we should have won this game anyway, but then we just disappear again in the fourth quarter, and it's because we do the same things that we did in the first half that we didn't learn from. We didn't, you know, adjust out of it. We didn't do anything to change those things that got us to losing in the first place, and same story every freaking game. It's just that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's just like Dame comes off the court. We don't get a field goal. We didn't get a field goal for 8 straight minutes there in the latter half of the third and early part of the fourth. And it's just like, you watch the way we do things offensively, and it's like, okay, let's take 5 seconds setting up a screen for Ben McLemore. Oh, he wasn't open? What do we do? Let's just dribble. What? Pick and roll. Okay, we run the pick and roll. Oh, they go defender. Oh, shot clock at 5. What do we do? Like, battle the shot clock, get up a terrible shot. You know what I mean? It's just offensively, I don't understand what the hell we're doing a lot of times, especially with Dame off the floor. And CJ would make this look better. So we miss CJ McCollum for sure, because he would help mask this, but it's a deeper problem than not having CJ.
You have the right word, mask. It just masks it. That's the problem. The last 9 years have just been masking the problem instead of fixing the problem. And so we don't need a mask. We need it to be fixed.
Yeah,
and it's not being fixed. And it's obvious that it's not, like, I don't know.
Some of it's on the players, though. Like, it's a lot of it's on Chauncey, and a lot of it's also on the players, because there are possessions where, like, I don't know if you remember this possession, Eric. I don't know if it was early in the second half. I think it was like in the second quarter. Larry Nance Jr. has the ball at the elbow, and there's 2 guys on his side of the floor. One, like, free throw extended slightly above him. It was Ant, and then somebody was in the corner. I forget who. And they just stand there for a good, like, 5 seconds.
Possession where then Larry Nance backs out and shoots a 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, get ready for Brent's breakdown, because this is the play of the century, folks, and it capitalizes everything I'm talking about. And I am...
Let me get it in here.
I am not... I don't have it yet, but...
get it up there. That's funny.
I am not underselling this. I am going to go off on this freaking play, okay? Yeah. I am going to go off on it. It is absolutely pathetic, and... I am just, it is exactly what I refer to and stuff when we talk about how this offense needs to be better, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, this play in particular is just so bad.
Yep. Let me thank the donos while you get it in there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Cool. Hopefully, by the end of these donos, those will be sorted out. Shout out Daniel G, $5 dono. He says, I say sit Dame, get him surgery, make trades for next season, and shut it down. Let the young guys get a lot of experience this year, and that's becoming a more viable route. And Dame would never, like, if Dame was healthy, he would never embrace a tank at this point in the season. But if it's a situation where it's like, dude, obviously you're struggling, you're hurt, like, I've heard that the surgery isn't necessarily going to help it, like, but they have to figure something out, or else if this continues to be a thing, then I feel like you might risk him declining earlier than otherwise he would. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in his 30s. It's going to be tougher and tougher to play with this. So if surgery might help him, I mean, it's getting to the point where, you know, and it's not like a rebuild. It would be more like a 1-year retool, right? You get Dame healthier for next year. You trade some guys for picks or some younger assets, some expiring contracts, whatnot. You probably get a high draft pick in the lottery. Maybe you get a top 3 pick and can draft a generational player. That second star Dame's needed, and maybe they won't be ready right away. But we've seen guys like Paolo Banchero, I think, could be an all-star in his second season in the league. Like, I think Paolo Banchero will be terrific in the NBA. Chet Holmgren could have an Evan Mobley-type impact at the 4, starting next to a 5. There's good prospects.
And I'm a Jabari Smith guy.
And you're a Jabari Smith guy, and he's extremely intriguing. So, we haven't talked draft prospects, but honestly, as a Blazer fan, like, sure, it sucked just losing all season, but, like, I don't know. I mean, it's probably better than just getting the 8th seed or getting the 7th seed, right? Like, we need some change, whether it's we suck this year or we're good this year. Obviously, this roster just needs an overhaul. Like, we're in the middle of shuffling the deck. We've already changed the coach, changed the GM, changed the CEO, right? And now it's at the point where, like, change the roster and change the direction of this team. And even though it sucks losing all these games, on one hand, it is kind of fun to just see what in the world is going to happen. You know what I mean? And that becomes a viable pathway. And we will talk about what that might entail. Because here's the thing. For years, all I've thought, and I think all you've thought, Eric, is how can we make the team better right now? How can we make a trade that makes us better talent-wise? We've never really embraced the idea of, like, just embracing the struggle, right? It's easier with Dame being hurt. You try and get him healthy, so that's obviously a good part of that. And that means Dame might be more on board with it than otherwise he would be. We've never thought about trades from the standpoint of, like, oh, maybe we're going to ship guys out for picks and just see what we can turn those into. You know what I mean? Like, we need to increase our roster flexibility. We need to, I don't know, like, I'll discuss it more and what some potential trades might look like and how that can help us long term. Me and Eric are CBA nerds, and I feel like trade stuff and draft stuff is kind of our specialty, so this is your number one stop for that. But yeah, appreciate Daniel G with the $5 dono. The more we lose, I agree. The more we lose, the more of a plausible possibility sitting Dame is for the rest of the season and just giving up on this season, which I know Dame doesn't want to do, but he has to get healthy. So shout out to Alex R, $2 dono. He says, oh dear. That was his entire dono message. Appreciate you, Alex R. Shout out Andrew Miller, $5 dono. Good to see you, Andrew. He says, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And I don't know if it's bad for this season, but at least I feel more confident having Cronin in the situation than Olshey. Mm-hmm. For as bad as Billups has been, like, at least I don't know, I still don't think Stotts wasn't the right coach for this team because he enabled all the things they struggle with. The thing is, like Chauncey said, oh yeah, I'm going to fix those things, and then everything he's doing is not fixing those things, and it doesn't seem like he's trying to fix those things, and you know what I mean? So, like, Chauncey's been bad, but, I mean... Well, would you rather have a politician or somebody that's just like, nah, we're just going to enable it? Like, it's both just kind of eh.
Here's my thing, though. I feel like Chauncey's doing a good job with, like, the Nazes and the Ants and the Dennis Smith Jr. type. So, I'd almost rather him be coaching a young team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Like, Chauncey, and obviously he's new, and maybe, I mean, a big portion of it has to go on the players, so if he got guys more bought in, maybe better defenders, he might look a lot better. And if, he had guys that were, I don't know, like, if he had a better roster, maybe he wouldn't feel like running Dame into the ground. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is this is such a mess that Chauncey's been bad, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of things that he can do better, but, it's a very tough situation for a new coach to be in. So, it's kind of understandable. Whereas Stotts for 9 years just kind of enabled a lot of bad habits and, had Damian Lillard to bail him out constantly. And obviously this year Dame hasn't been able to bail out anything. He's shot so bad that he's probably contributed to the problem. So overall, this is bad for this season. But if it's a situation where, I don't know, I could see this being the season that we needed like 3 years down the line. You know what I mean? Like going into the future. Like we needed a bad year. You know what I mean?
It's not that I wouldn't say needed it, but okay. If we can't trade our way out of this, we have basically one shot while Dame is still somewhat in his early 30s to tank a year. You have to hit the home run on the draft pick, though. If you go that route, you have to hit a home run. But if you do hit a home run, and all of a sudden you get that second star through the draft, and you develop a Simons and a Nas, and then you also maybe get some other young players or other picks that you could also hit on, and all of a sudden it takes Dame being on board here. So if Dame's not on board, it's going to be a struggle no matter what. But if you could get him on board and we go that route, I feel like it could work.
Yeah, and I mean, you get some flexibility under the salary cap line to maybe open up some other avenues, and then you'd have young upside, and you'd have more flexibility for maybe going out there and getting a good player next to Dame. I'm confident in Dame's recruiting ability. The problem is we just haven't had a ton of money to offer certain guys, So, I mean, you just look at Chicago struggled, but then they swing a trade for Vucevic, and then they sign and trade for DeRozan. Paid DeRozan more than pretty much any other team. And look at Chicago and look at how good they are this year, right? So it's a situation where you can turn things around pretty quickly, I feel like, because the league has more parity now than ever. I mean, you look at Atlanta's run last year with Trae Young and all their young guys, and they had some solid role players that they were able to sign, Danilo Gallinari, whatnot. So that's the thing, is if you're able to get productive players. Now we're going to have to pay Ant, and probably going to have to pay him a lot, but Nas will still be on his rookie contract next year. If we get a high draft pick, that could be a starting caliber player right away with the star level upside that would be on a rookie contract for 4 years. You gain flexibility and you gain the ability to make different moves. And then that's the thing, is if you cash guys in for draft picks, that helps your flexibility more. You save money and you get picks, which you can use in trades, or you can draft more young guys and just see what it looks like. You have a lot of different avenues, right? If this thing goes, with the way this thing is going and how bad it's going, it could open up the possibility to actually exploit some of those potential avenues that we otherwise wouldn't have if we kept winning. So my whole point to Andrew Miller's $5 dono, appreciate you, Andrew, is it seems really, really bad, but A, it's going to be entertaining to see what in the world happens. B, it's going to be different than just running it back and losing the first round and whatnot. And C, in the long run, this might be better. So overall, I don't know. After last night, I feel like last night was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back after choking against Phoenix. I'm just kind of embracing whatever happens. I'm chilling, So that's why I did the intro the way I did it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, Andrew. Shout out Daniel G, $2 dono. He says, rumor is Nurkic and Rocco are on the trade block, and I have to correct you. It's that they are available, right? Mm-hmm. Which basically it means Portland's not hanging up calls on them. It means Portland is listening to calls on them, which they should. They should for every player on this roster except for Dame right now.
Yeah.
I've always said I will never discuss Dame trades. No matter what, I will go down with Dame as long as he wants to be here. No matter if we're in the middle of a rebuild, no matter if we're winning a championship, no matter how the team looks, Dame's a Blazer for life for me unless he wants out. So,
Well,
other than that, like every other Blazer should be available. Like it's rumored that Nurkic and Rokar. That doesn't mean they're on the trade block because the trade block insinuates that like the Blazers are actively trying to trade them, and the way that report was worded wasn't that necessarily they were actively trying to trade him. But at this point, I think you gotta trade Roko, and the worse this gets, you gotta trade Nurk because they're expiring contracts, and you can get some value for them.
yeah. Just go to the next dono, I guess. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, good. Do you have the breakdown ready?
Yeah, let's get caught up on the donos so we don't
yeah.
lose any of them first.
Shout out to Shaggy Squid, $10 Australian dono. He says, I don't want to hate. I love Dame, but 38% from the field, 30% from three before this game, another 6 for 18 game. We could be 19-9 right now if he remotely plays like himself. His misses are contagious. I'm so sad. Appreciate Shaggy Squid, $10 Australian dono. We would not have that good of a record if Dame played like himself, but we would probably be right around 500 looking at like, the rest of the season we have an easy schedule. So that's the thing is, like, I hate how people will use this and say, oh, we need Stotts back. Dame's not shooting bad because Terry Stotts is gone. Absolutely not. Like, offensively, it's the same crap that we saw under Stotts. So the thing is like, Dame, with how he's struggling, just makes it worse instead of masking the issues we have. So that's the thing is it's like I don't know a good analogy for it, but I'm sure you guys can think of one. You know, I don't know. Like that's the problem is, I mean, you look at the Grizzlies without John Morant, they've won 9 out of 10, right?
Yep.
Us, Dame struggles and CJ is missing, and we are the worst team in the league. We just fall apart. So that's the issue, and the biggest reason is because we don't play no freaking defense. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Dame's struggling, but it's almost like I want Dame to be healthy, but I kind of want. I don't know. I don't necessarily want our problems to keep getting masked over to the point where we don't make the change that we need to change. I thought fixing the coach would make more of a difference than it has. Obviously, there's other change that needs to come. I was never against trading CJ. Now I want him traded. Now I'm more open to certain things. And it's because, like, this team just isn't it. And that's kind of where I'm at now. So appreciate Shaggy Squid, $10 Australian dono.
Let's get into it. Remind me to bring this point back up later.
Yeah.
I'll write it down. Just say later you said you wanted to say something, but we can get more in depth in it after.
On Shaggy Squid's dono, you want to touch upon?
No, just upon like trading people and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss trades for a big portion of this. Krish is out for tonight, by the way, so we won't do player cards. Won't do around the NBA. We're just gonna do a like normal, less structured stream tonight, which maybe you guys want. Shout out Mills Woj, $20 dono. Appreciate you, Mills Woj. You're super supportive. It means a lot. Mills Woj says, I'm so sad. I believed in this team so much. I love Damian Lillard. He's my favorite player. I love the Blazers. I'm from Portland, but live in LA. All my friends are Laker fans, and I hate them. And I hope we turn it around. Damn. And man, I feel you. And I'm sure all of Rip City feels you on that. It's weird seeing some people like take pride in how much we're struggling right now, because there's some fans out there see, I told you we suck, and it's like, why would you take pride in your favorite team sucking? It's just very strange to me. But some people care more about being right, it seems, than their team doing well, which has never been the case for us. But, I just see fans out there that take pride in it, and I don't understand that. Like, I feel like every fan should be upset with, how we're playing right now, and maybe you've embraced the tank at this point, and you're just like, you know what, screw it, keep losing, we need to retool, and I understand that part of it, but, yeah, I mean, it sucks. Overall, it sucks to be losing games like this, and I feel you on that, Mills Woj. Most of Rip City feels you on that. Shout Andrew Miller, $5 dono, says, I think Norm is a good piece in the right system. Am I wrong? I think he has been solid. And I think he's a good piece in the right system, but I think it's a situation where, like, he's not he's not a guy whose energy or competitiveness will uplift the team. So if the team has a competitiveness issue or an energy issue, he's not going to be that guy that helps that. Like I feel like Norm is one of those guys that just conforms to the team he's on. Mm-hmm. So like I don't, he's been frustrating, and there's plays where I just feel like he's slacking. And there's another play tonight where he just barely even tried to run back. Like he fell down on the baseline and obviously just like walked back basically. But like the whole team is like that. And I feel like if you put him on Golden State, he wouldn't be doing that. And he'd be busting his ass on D, So it's almost just like a culture thing. I feel like Norm conforms to the situation he's in. He doesn't change it. Do you agree with that, Eric?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him. I don't know. I still would like to see him. Maybe. I mean, I said this with Melo too. It's like, let them run the offense if they want more. If you want to see what they can do, like have some plays where they're initiating the offense and it's a designed pass from them or things like that. And I just like to see that. And that's one of the things I was hoping when you have a ball movement. And one of the things that Golden State does so well is like any of their players can initiate a pass or a movement or whether it's off ball action or the guy with the ball passing the ball. And so, yeah, I kind of agree that Norm he's going to be one of your, third through sixth best player on a good team. He's probably never going to be like a top 2 player on a team. But the guy is, man, it'd be really nice to have him as a third or fourth option if he's like as efficient as he has been in the last few years from 3-point, especially. He's one of the more efficient guards in the NBA, both with getting to the free throw line and also knocking down threes, like I said. So, like, I feel like that's kind of selling him short a little bit because he could be an integral part of a good team. For some reason, this current mix of players just is not, they don't communicate. They don't like that. It's hard for me to put that on like one person, but I kind of feel that way about all of them right now.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Shout out to Play by Play with a $10 donut says, well, this sucks. I don't see what direction we're trying to go in. Cronin needs to either make some big moves or we just need to go the Warriors route. But man, this sucks. Appreciate the $10 dono. Play by Play. Here's the thing with the Warriors though, is they play the right way. So we got to bring in players that play the right way and maybe a coach that can get this team playing the right way because Chauncey obviously hasn't. So it's a different situation than the Warriors. They had the structure in the system. They sucked for a couple years. One of them, they didn't have Steph all year, and obviously a big part of their system is Steph. That's an understatement. But yeah, overall, it's we are so far away from playing a good brand of basketball offensively, and defensively we're lazy and lack energy and just make a bunch of silly, stupid mistakes. So, like, that's the problem. Appreciate you, Play by Play. Shout out Antonio, $5 dono, says, I suggested a CJ for Dylan and slow-mo trade earlier this season, was denied, but we need a guy like that desperately plays hard every game. And I appreciate your $5 dono. I would hate a trade like that because look at the way we play offense without CJ, right? Well, we play this way with CJ, but CJ helps bails it out. But we're so like just garbage offensively right now, and our style of basketball is just garbage offensively right now. Dylan Brooks is not a good offensive player. He had a good night tonight. He can get hot, but overall, I mean, you just look at him. He's only played 14 games this season, but he's shooting 33% from 3 and 42% from the field. Okay, last year he shot 34% from 3, 42% from the field. Like, he's not an efficient player. He gets up a lot of shots, but he is an inefficient player. Kyle Anderson,
but we
have to get more talented.
Yeah.
And we don't need a guy that, like, is inefficient that shoots a bunch of shots, even if he's, like, great defensively. So making that sort of trade makes us less talented offensively. Our defense is still, like, even though we're getting a little better defensively, our problems defensively go way beyond that, and so we're still going to suck defensively. And then offensively, it's like, we get worse, and when we haven't had CJ to kind of bail out our crappy offense, it's looked terrible. When Dame's off the court, we're horrible. We need a guy that can... Like, if we're going to play this crappy, ISO, stagnant style of basketball off the bench, we need somebody that can create things, and that's not Kyle Anderson, that's not Dillon Brooks. So it's like, that sort of trade doesn't solve anything, doesn't make us better, and it's just, like, what's our direction with that? It's just kind of directionless.
I mean, they showed those skills tonight.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing, is, like, we'll have a terrible defense, and Dillon Brooks will look great, and everybody's like, get Dillon Brooks! But then it's like, the next game he'll be 3 for 12, 3 for 13, and nobody will notice it. And then we'll play him again, and it'll look great. It's like...
Well, the thing about Brooks, though, we do need someone like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you talked about it. We do need players that play the way he does, that wear their heart on their sleeve, that are out there, like, getting mad when they miss a shot and, like, getting pumped up when they do. Dame's great. I mean, you want... Your star is okay to have that, but you also need guys who are like Dillon Brooks, and who's just, I mean, he got after it on defense once again tonight. But here's the problem with that kind of trade at this point. To me, I'm in the either you're probably going to have to overpay in this situation, but get someone better than CJ, or just trade CJ for more picks and young players and stuff like that. Because if you do like a trade like Brooks and Anderson, well, first of all, Anderson's a free agent after the season, but like, let's say we make a run, get the 8 seed, like I said, and we lose in the first round, like, because we're playing a much better team or whatever. We still have the talent gap problems. If you want to say it's the roster, we still don't have the high-end talent to win in the playoffs. And we kind of just made this season like every other season for us if we make that kind of trade and it works.
That trade just guarantees mediocrity to me.
I would rather just trade CJ for like a bunch of firsts and like, for example, the Knicks have a first-round pick from Charlotte. They have a first-round pick from Dallas in the next 2 years, and they have all their own first-round picks. So if they gave us some crappy contracts, some players that aren't working out for them that they signed in the offseason, and like 3 or 4 first-round picks for like a CJ or maybe a CJ and Rocco, like that to me is how then we're all of a sudden, then we take this season, get a top 5 pick maybe, plus we have a stockpile of 3 or 4 extra first-round picks in future years on top of that. Then you can really make a move in the offseason and get that one piece you're missing. Plus, you might have added that one from the top 5 pick as well. So you're talking about adding 2 stud pieces, either because we created some cap space or we still have some tradable contracts elsewhere if there's still players on the team. So I'd rather go that route, or if you can't get a Siakam or a Simmons or someone like that who maybe could change the upside of this season, and I'm not saying those are logical options or possible options, because from everything I'm hearing, Siakam's not really available and Simmons is still, like, we're just not going to meet their asking price ever. So unless something drastically changes there, I don't think either of those 2 options are going to happen. So that's why I'm kind of more in favor of just going the opposite way and not just treading water, just like do a mini rebuild, not a full rebuild, because like I said, I still think Dame could be fine with a young team. I think it might actually be better for him to run with some guys who are a little less set in their ways and a little more
bring a little more energy,
coachable, bring more energy, play better defense, all that kind of stuff. So you could completely rework it and grow together, and the ceiling would be so much higher than if we just made a trade for whoever we traded for that was a good player this year.
Yeah. Yep. Shout Gray Hughes investigates $10 donor, says the Blazers don't have that killer instinct attitude. We work hard to get up in the game, then quickly give up the lead and then some. It's embarrassing. Something has to change. Appreciate you as always, Gray Hughes. This team has the like the competitiveness of a pee-wee basketball team. And like we're just gonna go out there and play, and we're losing, it's okay, like whatever, like I'm sure they don't like losing, but I don't think they hate it as much as they should, right? Like they have the mentality of a pee-wee basketball team, and actually I'm not even sure about that, because in 4th grade I cried after losing a game, so I still maybe not even that. The lack of competitiveness sucks, and it pisses me off.
I mean, Dame said after the Denver series that he was disappointed that people weren't more frustrated with losing that series than they were. So I guess that should have been my first indication. That's my bad. I admit that. I should have seen that coming. I thought switching the coach would maybe light a fire under them and get them to play, or realize that they
holding them
have
accountable for things might motivate them. That sort of stuff. Yeah. That was the thought. And I mean, that's the thing, is like that's a very sound expectation. It just didn't work out that way. We can't predict the future. But like I guarantee you there's guys on this team that Dame just wants gone because of that.
Yeah.
Like I think Dame wants Rocco gone. I think Dame, and I feel like if Dame wants Rocco gone, that might partly explain him coming out of the starting lineup too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Here's the thing. Here's the guys that I think Dame is cool with, all right, being on the roster right now, for sure. Simons, Little, Nance. Outside of that, there's nobody I can say where he's, like, okay with their competitiveness. Those are, and like, Simons kind of struggles defensively, but, like, he tries and he gets after it, you know what I mean? He's just already kind of a quiet guy, but, like, he goes after it, Everybody else has very iffy moments. CJ has a lot of iffy moments. Norm has iffy moments. Rocco has a ton of iffy moments. Nurkic has been better than those three. Like, I don't think Nurkic has been a problem, but he hasn't been as...
It hasn't been a solution either.
Yeah, he hasn't been as good as I want him to be and as he can be in regards to getting after loose balls, hustling... like lately I feel like his energy is slightly waned. Part of that is you're covering for a bunch of stupid mistakes, so I kind of get it. So that's why Nurkic is just kind of in the, I don't know. You know what I mean? And he's on an expiring contract, so if he doesn't want to be here, then you gotta get something for him. And only, like, Dame probably knows best on if Nurkic wants to be here or not, so... I feel like the guys to keep Nance tries to play the right way. He tries to set off-ball screens and kind of like get the offense moving in freelance, and then everybody else is standing around, and I feel like he's given up on that compared to what he was trying to do at the start of the year. But like he's the type of guy who I feel like will fit in. He would be great with Golden State or Phoenix and playing the style of basketball that they play offensively. And then Ant and Little are young and play with energy, so they're fine. Other than that, it's just kind of... every other player is very iffy right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least the guys that regularly play,
Yeah.
So appreciate Greg Hughes with the $10 donut shot. Andrew Miller, $5 donut, says, if we went full rebuild, who are the 5 players you're keeping, not including Dame? So you get 5 players plus Dame. I would like both answers. Well, I mean, we actually started to discuss that. I would keep Ant, Nas, Nance. Can I pick 6? Like, I would keep Greg Brown, I would keep Watford, I would keep Ellaby.
I was not expecting you to say Ellaby that correctly.
Well, I don't think he's good, but like he plays hard.
Uh-huh.
Like the bar is so low, Eric. Like just guys that like consistently play hard.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell happened, dude?
Yeah. See,
I only get 5. Okay, bye, Ellaby.
All right. So, okay. If we're not including Dame, I pretty much want everyone gone other than Nas, Ant, and I'm fine keeping Brown and Watford, but if like it gets a deal done or something to include Brown in a trade, like I wouldn't like be like, no, he's untouchable or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm saying Nas and Ant. That's it. I'm giving 2. Greg Brown and Watford, I'm fine staying, and any of the other young guys. So because the problem,
not keeping Nance.
Here's the deal: if we're going rebuild, Nance probably has the most value or like the easiest contract to trade to a contender or whatever. So if we're going rebuild, I'm probably just getting what I can, because like he's a good player. Like I'm not faulting him for anything that's going on, but like I wouldn't like his skill set isn't really needed on a rebuilding team, in my opinion. Like I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Like if we want to keep him, I have no problem with that. But I'd also look into seeing what you can get for him too.
Yep. And then we got somebody in chat. People tell me, be respectful of a difference of opinion. And then I hear, this guy really hates Powell. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to do that mocking voice. This guy really hates Powell in all caps. And it shows. Powell hater. LMAO. Come on, bro. Too funny.
Same person?
It's EG. I don't know who. But, like, bro, I don't hate Powell, man. I don't hate Powell. Like, I don't hate anybody on this roster. Why? Like, I'm not the type to hate on the roster I've defended guys like Powell non-stop all freaking offseason. Okay? I don't know if you're new to the channel or what. I don't know if you're Krish. It's not Krish, I'm just kidding. But, oh my goodness, never say I hate somebody on this roster after I defended them against almost everybody for months. Come on, man. Especially in all caps. Like, but I'm supposed to be respectful to that. Nah, man. Get out here with the all caps. You don't need to yell. All right? We can use our inside voices. And, dude, I don't hate Powell, man. I've been defending him constantly. And I just said, I think if you put him on another team, he's perfectly fine. He's obviously a talented offensive player. I just don't think he's the number 1 or 2 guy on the team. And I feel like I'm pretty realistic with his limitations. All right? Like, I like the Powell trade. I even said I wanted the Powell trade. Almost predicted the Powell trade right before it happened. So, no, I don't hate Norman Powell, man. I don't hate anybody on this roster. Obviously, there's a big issue. We've lost 10 of 11 games, so obviously some players are failing. Sorry if that's hard to handle. But yeah, anyway.
And EG, also, there's a button on your keyboard or on your phone that changes your caps lock. Try pushing that just one time. Push it one time, and then you'll be good.
Yeah, Bonnie says you guys are criticized when you're optimistic and criticized when you're pessimistic. Apparently, you can't make anyone happy. Yep, that's the problem. I start criticizing them, and I'm a Powell hater, but I defend Powell, and that means I'm an idiot who doesn't realize the roster sucks. So, yeah, I mean, can't win. Can't win if you're us, man. Can't. It's just impossible. Shout out Rip City 208 $10 dono says, I don't see keeping Nurkic and Rocco as an option this trade deadline. Neither are coming back in 2022. I will be tuning in for the trade deadline, anticipating a celebration or a meltdown.
At this point, I don't think we can wait until another almost 2 months.
Here's the thing, though. Other teams have to want to make a move now, and it's the patience game. People are like, it's December 15th. Where are the trades? Like, I tried to tell you guys. It's funny because there are people that are in here every stream, Eric, and like I know they've been in here when I've made the point that just because players are tradable on December 15th doesn't mean there's going to be a trade. It rarely happens, and teams usually will wait. There's rarely trades this time of year, and I'll explain that. And people that are in chat for that moment, I saw one of them in chat today saying, where are the trades? When are we going to make a trade? What in the world? Like, did you not hear me on previous streams? I've said it multiple times. I don't know. So, we got to be patient as far as trades. At this point, we should definitely be actively looking to make some moves, but it takes 2 or maybe 3 or maybe 4 to tango. And there's a lot of teams that are probably just waiting and seeing how their situations sort themselves out right now. So, got to be patient. Unfortunately, I hate patience, but.
Andrew Miller, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, shout out Andrew Miller, always very supportive. He's the man. $50 dono says, so I'm going to say it. You guys are awesome. People want to bring BS narratives. I disagree with Tori and Eric sometimes, but that's the point. We're all Blazer fans. Let's figure out how to get the first ring since 1977. Appreciate you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew, man.
Yeah, you're very supportive, man. And that's the thing, is it makes it easier to do streams like this, knowing how supportive you guys are. Because if any of you watched the Valley Pod last night and watched me absolutely rage at the way we lost that game, like, you guys know that I hate losing like this. Mm-hmm. I hate how bad we look as much as any of you guys. But being able to come here and vent about it and talk about it and kind of just be in it together and having your guys' support means a lot to both of us. So appreciate you as always, Andrew. As NJAD3 says, Andrew's a real one.
Yes, and let's reward that donation with a Brant's breakdown, because I am ready. I need to get this out of my system, please.
All right, is it up? Where's it at?
It's in the drive, yeah.
Yeah, where in the drive?
In Brant's breakdown.
Okay, is it play 1, play 2, or play 3?
What?
Because play 3 is yesterday at 10:09 p.m., and then play 1 and play 2 say December 8th. So I was waiting on it.
Play 1, there's 7 in there.
Oh, it just said December 8th on it. So I don't know why it didn't update the last time it was edited. I don't know why it was saying December 8th. That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, we do everything through the cloud, guys. If you've ever been curious as to how Chris makes the graphics and Eric sends me his pictures, we just have a cloud and do everything through there. That's how the process works. We got the process pretty much down, for graphics-wise. Just unfortunately, no Chris tonight. I will have Brant's breakdown ready in a second if you want to thank the latest dono.
All right, shout out to... I don't see it. That's weird.
Was my...
It's not...
Oh, no, it just glitched out. It glitched out in my streaming software. My streaming software, I have a chat, but it just showed me that there was a new donation when there wasn't. So, I don't know, stall, yeah. Eric.
All right, yeah.
For like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Array says, thank you for saying LB plays hard. You're right, though. He plays some of the best D on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people say, like, what are you supposed to do if I saw this comment when I was ranting earlier. What is the coach supposed to do when he's teaching them to do something and then they don't do it on the floor? That's exactly what he should do. Put in Elevy, put in Greg Brown, put in Trenton Watford, because at least those guys are going to listen and try to do what he did. And that's the beauty of young players, in my opinion, is they will actually try to do it. Now, they're not going to do it well, at least initially, and they're going to make tons of mistakes. But at least they're out there trying, and that's what you want. And then it sends a message to the players who are doing it wrong or not executing properly or doing their own thing. And that's what I would do if I was a coach and I was looking at this disgusting performance and just seeing my team not do any of the things I wanted them to do. But, I mean, this is the problem with accountability. It's like you can't just be selective with it. You have to actually do it once it happens. So it kind of wears off if you're not expecting them to do a certain thing, and then you're not holding them accountable when they do it, and then they still get the same amount of minutes the next game no matter what happens.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to not make a shot for 8 minutes, you might as well put in Ellaby because he's probably a better defender than a couple of the guys you got out there. So if you're not making shots, then I don't know. Put in...
Well,
go and sign a freaking football cornerback and sub him in on defense if you're not going to make shots.
It's not just about missing shots too. It's like Rocco comes in and throws a pass right to Kyle Anderson for a fast break lane, and then
he got the favor returned. I don't know which order they happened in because they threw it right to him for a fast break play too. But yeah, it's rough, man. Brant's breakdown. I'm so ready for this play.
All right,
because I brought this up without knowing that it was going to be a breakdown. All right, let me get this sized correctly.
guys, I am so mad. Someone timestamp this, please, because
57:50.
Okay, and so I want you to keep everything in the screen if possible, because it's important that we see the time and all that stuff on this. So when we talk about how crappy and stagnant our offense is, this play sums up everything we've been saying for 2.5 years. We passed the ball to Dame. Norm brought the ball up, passes it to Dame. Notice how much time is on the shot clock when he catches this ball.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. Go to the next slide, please.
13 seconds.
13 seconds. Everyone is still in the same frickin' spot. No one has moved. Dame has just stood there for 4 seconds. No one's doing anything. He's pressed up against the sideline. He can't get a shot off even if he wanted to. If he is able to get by his man here, he has 2 people waiting for him in perfect help position. He's not going to get a good shot. And we just stand there. We don't even do anything, right? Okay, so go to the next slide, please. 13 seconds, right?
10.
Down to 10 seconds. Has anyone freaking moved? No, they have not. They have not even moved, Tori. They haven't moved. What are we doing? 7 seconds. Dame just stood there dribbling against the sideline, had no option, and the 4 players are now across the court just standing there. They're not even freaking moving. This pisses me off, man. And so Dame has no shot. He gets doubled here. No one, he's being guarded by 3 guys, basically, and we have no one open. How is this okay? How is this okay for an NBA team to freaking run this offense? And to make things worse, so he has the ball for 7 seconds, then he passes to Larry Nance. He gets a pass in, right?
Yep.
Gets the pass in the next slide. Larry Nance catches the ball with 9 seconds, right? Everyone's still standing there. Simon's still standing there. Whoever's in the corner is still standing there. Norm's up top, he's still standing there. Actually, in fact, he's at half court now, pretty much. Completely taken out of the play, not even doing anything. I don't even know what the hell he's doing on this play. Dame doesn't move. So Nance stands there with the ball.
Here, I can resize this because it's a little bit in, but yeah, I mean.
And so Nance is gonna stand there for a few minutes or a few seconds, and if you go to the next slide.
Okay. 7 on the shot clock.
So he's standing there for 2 seconds. Still no one's moved. This is where Norm, I messed up by the first slide. So Norm is now vacated to half court for some reason. I don't know why he would step back to half court. But why, what are we doing? I don't understand. So this is now 10 seconds where no one has freaking moved and we've done nothing, right? And then, so Simons in the next slide is going to cut simply because Nance dribbles backwards into his area. So Simons is like, oh, I better move. So he moves out of the way. And then Norm's still at half court, a second later. And then we go to the last slide. We go to the last slide. Nance has to shoot a 3 because Norm isn't even at the picture. You can see the logo. Norm's not in the picture. I don't know what's going on. Dame doesn't move after he passes. He's still standing over there being face guarded by whoever and not moving. And Nance, he gets an open 3, I guess, but this
Step
is just
back open 3 for Larry Nance. It's not the move.
This is just so frustrating, man. We don't do and this is a point of a game where we're struggling to get baskets and stuff. It's why? What is this set? What is the point of this? Why are we not moving? Why are we not using passes and screens and stuff like that? Why is everyone just standing there? And it's the Dame save us play, but Dame can't save us this year. He's being guarded by 3 people this play when he had the ball, and even if he did make a miraculous shot, that's not a good offense, man. And I don't understand because he has nowhere to pass to really either. It's not like he's got someone open or anything like that. I don't get it. I don't understand what this is. And you could say, oh, it's just a one-time thing or whatever. But this is what we did all last year, all the last 2 years with Carmelo frickin' Anthony. And this is what made me so mad is we post up Melo in this similar situation and he'd get the ball 15 feet away from the hoop. And the other four guys would just stand there on the other side of the key. It would happen game and game and game in. And it's just crazy. All you have to do is pressure Dame and take him out. And if we don't do anything to counteract that, and this is why I was so comfortable or confident that things would be better this year, because I thought crap like this would stop happening so consistently. And honestly, it's the exact same. It's been the same. We still have crappy movement. We still have multiple possessions throughout the game. And it's no wonder we struggle to score for long stretches of time when we do this stuff.
Yeah, I mean... it's funny because I pointed out this play when making a point, and my point is like, this is on Chauncey because what in the world is the play call here? We throw Dame the ball on the sideline with 17 seconds left and don't do anything. So like, what's the play call, right? But like, a lot of teams will go down and they won't call sets, they'll just freelance, but they'll do it productively. Just look at Golden State, right? So this is where it comes on the players like, bro, like, you guys just don't want to do anything? Because obviously we're not in a set. Like, you got other teams where, like, Simon Sears is like, okay, how can I, like, I'll screen away, I'll screen down, I'll cut over the top, I'll cut and then back screen for Dame. Like, you know, guys just move. Just off-ball screens and cutting, right? Like, it's not that hard. It's very basic basketball. And this is where it's on the players because, like, none of these guys want to do that. If you guys remember Larry Nance Jr. early on this year, how many times he just set, like, a random off-ball screen and then, like, look to cut and then just be active offensively and moving? Like, it was so much fun to me because it's like, wow, man, we don't ever do that. Mm-hmm. And now it's just like, now Larry Nance Jr. is just funny because now it's like Larry Nance Jr. is just stuck here in the middle of the court and gets the ball and then stands there like nobody's moving. You know what I mean? So this is where it's like, what in the world is wrong with our players where they're just content to just sit there? Like, Rocco's just sitting there, hands on his knees. Norm's just not even in the play. He's like already walking back on defense. What the hell? And
okay, let's say, you know, normally you'd have a shooter in the corner, right, for spacing, right? So if a guy gets to the middle of the paint, he can kick out for an open shot, theoretically. But at no point in this possession are they going to get an open three. Like, there's no way Dame's going to be able to throw that cross-court pass with how tightly he's being defended. And there's no way Nance is going to get the ball to either of them for an open three here. There's no chance. So, like, I don't know what the point of them standing there is. Like, usually you'd say, oh, it's to space the floor. If you get open, you shoot the three. But they're not going to be open at any point. And then to make things worse, Norm just leaves, so it's 4-on-5. It's like, I don't...
yeah, I mean, honestly, here's what's funny is, like, if this was CJ instead of Dame, right, in this situation, and then CJ ISO'd and took, like, a questionable shot, people would freak out at CJ. Mm-hmm. But what the hell is he supposed to do? What the hell is, like, I kind of wish Dame just shot a step back, like, ridiculous three here, because the alternative is, like, everybody's just going to stand around, and then we get the ball to Nance, and then Nance has no option, so he shoots a step back three. Like, what is the guy with the ball supposed to do here? You know what I mean? Like, so if the offense has some flow and, like, guys are moving, but CJ just ignores them and then isolates, like, yeah, criticize him for that. But there's so many times where, like, guys aren't even moving, this offense isn't doing anything, it's just super stagnant, and CJ would, like, try and make something happen out of nothing, and he would get killed for it. And it's just, like, it's not CJ's fault that other guys aren't moving off the ball.
Well, and so that game where I think Nurk had 31 points, right? Mm-hmm. We were posting him up a lot. So in this situation, like, if Nurk was in the game, he could go post up. Dame could throw it down to him in the post, and maybe we could throw a cross-court pass, or he could throw it up to Norm, and we could catch him off guard because we have like an advantage and a big that can pass out of it. But Nance isn't really a post-up player, so he's not going to go down there in the post. So like it's frustrating too that we're not really utilizing Nurk like that. Like he had some success doing in some of the games where Dame and CJ were out, and then they come back and we don't post them up at all. It's just I don't know. I feel like we could do so much more things to make it easier on this offense, but instead we do this.
Yeah. Yep. And that, dude, like, I don't know, man. There's some people that don't like when I bring up my own basketball experience, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, I guarantee you if I was on the court, I would not be standing still. Yeah. I would not be. Bro, like, it's funny because it's like my rec league team moves well. And we play smart. And we look for each other. And we set off ball screens. And we just play freaking basketball and it's fun. You know what I mean? That's why I don't understand about these guys. It's like, it's fun to move. It's fun to set off ball screens for somebody, set a screen, and then cut, and then maybe get a layup, or, just have guys moving and to be able to hit a cutter with a dime. And, like, playing that brand of basketball is a lot more fun than just kind of, like, standing there watching one guy just hold the ball, right? So that's what I don't understand. Like, why don't you want to move? It doesn't make sense. And it's like, I can understand maybe for like a guy like Simons, who's like, everybody else is going to stand around. So like, well, I'm not going to move. Well, I'm going to cut and be guarded and everybody else is still going to stand. Like, so I can understand maybe like with a couple of guys that stand around, like they might do it because everybody else does. But why is it such a collective thing? Like, I don't understand. It's not fun to play basketball like that. So, and it's not hard. It's not hard to just move more. It's not hard to go and set an off-ball screen for somebody and then cut off of it. It just drives me absolutely crazy that this is a freaking NBA team that plays like this. It's a joke. Yeah. So, yeah, I guarantee you if I was out there, I wouldn't be standing around because I'd get bored. So I just don't. I am just at such a loss, Eric. For the first time in my streaming career, in my YouTube career, I am at a complete loss to explain anything because it's a mental issue, and this is what I talked about last stream. It's a mental issue, and I'm not inside their heads. I don't know. I can talk about what I see on the court. I don't know what the hell is the mental issue with this, but there's very obviously a mental issue when you have plays like that, because that's ridiculous. And that, if I was on Chauncey for not getting us into more sets when we were getting stagnant, but like when players don't even want to move in a set like that, they don't even want to do anything, they're a big part of the problem.
Yeah.
So.
And if this is a case where they're not doing what Billups wants them to do, once again, they need to be shipped out. But I just don't understand how an NBA player who wants to win, if you truly want to win, and your coach is asking you to try doing stuff and you're not doing it, that would indicate to me that you really don't care. You could say you do, but you don't. So if this is a case of the players not executing it or not doing what Billups wants them to do, maybe they're just not mentally fit for being a winning team, and we need to mix something up around it while we have the time to do it.
Yeah, but that's that, dude. Like, let me just bring this back up. All right, this is why I don't think Ben Simmons solves all our problems. He's not going to solve our problems mentally, and then if Ben Simmons is in Larry Nance Jr.'s position, what the hell is he going to do better? Like, if Ben Simmons... maybe he could drive on Adams, but...
and get to the basket, yeah.
Ben Simmons isolations are the solution? Like, obviously he makes us better defensively, but when you got, like, 3 guys falling asleep, Simmons can't make up for all of that. We're still going to be a bad defense with all the silly mistakes we make, so he helps defensively, but, like, he doesn't fix it defensively, and offensively, with how crappy we play... Like, if you use him in a Draymond facilitating role with a bunch of movers and cutters, like, cool. That works. This offense? It would be a disaster. When Dame's off the court, what the hell are we going to do? Because CJ can create shots for himself and others at a high level where we can run this crappy offense, but, like, if he gets going, he'll start hitting some shots, draw multiple defenders, kicking out to guys, and just sparking everything offensively with Dame off the court. Ben Simmons ain't like that. So that was my whole point with trading for Ben Simmons. and I'm open to it now. Obviously, like I kind of want to. We need a change, so I'm not saying that I'm against it. But for all the people that act like just bring them in and it fixes everything, it does not. It doesn't.
Yep.
So that, like, with such a mental block on this team, I feel like he'd be a guy you bring him in here with his mental question marks, and it's like, not gonna help it.
Rip City 28, apologize to your wife for me. I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry to Rip City 208's wife, because apparently Eric woke her up.
You know what? Yeah, but yeah, I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame, but blame the Blazers for playing crappy ass basketball.
Yes. Honestly, like you weren't that loud. Like there's a certain noise. Yeah, but there's a certain noise threshold where like the mic like doesn't go above.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's like an input cap volume wise, but you definitely like tried to obliterate that. So, but honestly, it was like dude, I wish you could run a film session for them. A film session by a fan. Eric Brandt. Just cussing out the team. I would pay... Dude, honestly, because the ticket sales are bad, they should let you do that and then sell ticket sales to that and recoup some of their income.
Here's the deal. If they're not listening to Phillips, they're certainly not going to listen to some idiot 42-year-old washed-up basketball player.
Oh, they won't listen to you, but it will be entertaining, and they deserve it. They deserve it. Like, and it would be entertaining. I would love that, man. We just gave away any chance we ever had of interviewing a player. Shout out Beavis the Blazer, $5 dono says, please clip this rant for this play and post to Twitter. I think you can clip things, Beavis, so if you want to clip it for us, we can post it to Twitter. That'd be cool. But I did save the timestamp. Honestly, we have a thread in our Discord that I never talk about, right? But we have a thread in our Discord called Timestamps. If you want to join our Discord, I will post a invitation link in the chat, and I will also put it in the description right now. So there it is. I just posted it in chat, and I will put it at the top of the description, right? And there's a timestamps tab that I made. I never talk about it. I forget it even exists, but I made a timestamps tab where you guys could timestamp your favorite moments of streams, and it could help us put together like stream highlights. Mm-hmm. Because it would be really cool to do like a stream highlights of November, stream highlights of December. But obviously, like, I would need help with that because I'd have to go through all the footage and, like, snip it all out. And I would just need timestamps for, like, every good moment so I could actually do that because I don't have the time to rewatch all of our streams all the way through. So if you guys want to help us with that, there's a timestamps thread in that Discord. That would be huge. If we just had, like, 10 or 15 people that just consistently posted timestamps in that thread that they liked, we could do videos like that, and it'd be really fun to look back on. I wish we could do that for, like, year one. You know what I mean? So maybe at some point...
someone can grind and do that.
Yeah, maybe at some point I'll try and get, like, I don't know, 50 to 70 people together and just have them rewatch a year one stream and then timestamp what they liked. You know
at one point, Zach was doing a really good job of timestamping old streams, but...
Honestly, in the off-season, like, the thing is Zach can't do it all by himself.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so in the off-season, that would be something fun. Just, like, stream highlights from year one. Because we had some really good moments that, I don't know, we used to just... Honestly, our streams year one, we talk about basketball for an hour, and then we just talk about random stuff for a good hour. It was much more like a Twitch stream, you know, like the chatting category. I don't know if any of you guys watch Twitch, but it was very much just kind of like a hangout for half the stream. Now, obviously, we have all these graphics and are better at talking about basketball more in depth on stream, so we can go for hours talking about what's happening on the court. But we had a lot of fun moments year one. Back when the channel was smaller. Shout out to you if you were around during that time. So, yeah, maybe in the offseason. I don't know. I definitely want to just look back at some of the highlights from year one and even last year and this year.
And Rip City 208, if it makes you feel any better, I'm probably going to get yelled at after this stream as well.
Are you?
I don't know. Probably. I was, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I got two sleep and two not, so.
Yeah. Videotape it.
All right. I'll do it on the low.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, shout out Andrew Miller, $5 donut, says, can I get on a stream? You've been so supportive. Sure, you can get on a stream for being basically our channel MVP. Because you've been insanely supportive, so yeah, we'll have to work that out. Shout out Beavis the Blazer, another $5 donut, says, not only is no one moving, and in a trance watching Dame against the sideline, no one is even in position for any kind of offensive rebound.
Nope.
Definitely not Norm. So appreciate you.
Oh wait, he's just getting back so he can play his great defense.
Yep. Facts. Yeah.
I laugh because it's painfully true. Oh man, yeah.
Beavis says, you guys were analyzing the same way before. It's now just each stream is more streamlined. Yeah, we have a really good flow, but as the team continues to suck, I'm gonna want to talk about individual like player cards less and less. You know what I mean? Because it's like, get these guys out of here. I don't want to talk about them. I've kind of given up on some of these guys. So at some point, like, I might have to start talking draft stuff. And at this point, we're talking trade stuff, so I expect things to look different as we go on. And I don't know, like, we've caught up on donos. We've done Brand's breakdown. Chris obviously isn't here tonight. So is there any players that you want to talk about today, Eric? Like, is there anything you want to say about anyone?
No, I mean... Yeah.
I mean, Simon shot well, 7 for 16,
I like
22.
hustle.
Yeah, but like the bench was horrible, right? Dame was actually a plus 13. Nurkic was a plus 9. I thought Nurkic was solid tonight. I thought, Dame just can't make shots. He was 5 for 11 from 3, so it's nice to see him go 5 for 11 from 3, but 1 for 10 inside the arc. He's struggling to finish. And honestly, if you have a core injury, it might make it harder to like contort and finish. So maybe that's affecting him. Nice to see Nas make a 3, go 1 for 2 from 3. He needs to continue to work on his shot. Nice to see Trenton Watford get more minutes. The one foul they called on him I thought was a bad call. I thought he played good defense on that possession. Honestly, I would play Watford even more next game. Screw it. At this point, screw it. I like what Watford has shown in his 10 meaningful minutes this year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the starting lineup looked good at the start of the first and the start of the third. It's just they weren't able to maintain that, and once guys started subbing in, that fell apart fast. So, Yeah, that's my takeaways. Streamlined to the max. Shout out to Carlton Pagano Jackson. Good to see you, Carlton. Says he has a $20 dono. Appreciate it. Says Chauncey says the right things and breaks down every loss. I know after some trades and some player movement, it'll be a different attitude on the court. Love to y'all. And that's
Carlton.
Yeah, that's my hope too. That like he can't like my hope is that this team is mentally broken, and he's come to the point where he's like, there's nothing I can do with what I have right now, and he just wants some guys gone and some new guys brought in, and he just feels like he can't implement what he wants to because these players aren't embracing it or aren't committed to it or whatnot.
Yeah. I still believe in Chauncey as a coach. I'm not like giving up on him. It's just I thought a former player who has won a ring and who seemed to have the right temperament, both with patience and also, accountability and demanding what he expects from a player, letting each and every one of them said he went to each one, had a discussion with them about exactly what he expects out of them. Every time out, he grabs a player and basically like explains something to them. I still think it's going to equate to him being a good coach. It's just, unfortunately, right now, I think he's a little in over his head and he doesn't know how to fix it. And he's stuck between continuing to try and hope that they figure out his stuff or changing it to a way that could maybe fit what the personnel he has a little better. So I don't know if I don't think he's like not capable of changing his ways, but I also think at this point he hasn't given up on him. And I can't necessarily say that's a bad thing because, I mean, players do need to perform, but at the same time, he does. I don't know. I felt like there was points in the last few games where he could have sent a message and we lost anyway, so what did it matter? And the longer he waits before sending the message, I feel like the more it'll get lost in translation when he does send it, because it needed to be sent several games ago, not not when we lose 10 in a row instead of 5 in a row, you know?
Yep, agreed with that. All right, do you want to talk trades, Eric?
Yeah, let's. I've seen a few people asking about Danny Ainge in the chat today, so let me just say, thank you, Utah. Thank you. I wouldn't have had a huge problem with Ainge, but I'm just sick of the retreads, man. I want something different. I don't want someone who's been a GM or who has I just want someone who's gonna come in and do something different, right? And I feel like Ainge might have been a little too, I don't know, not like Olshey necessarily in a personal way, but and not like evaluating the players' way, but just rework the roster around the edges, and not really done anything to make that big splash or whatever. But I don't know. I'm ready to give opportunities to new people. I would like more diversity and more kind of differing opinions than the middle to old age white person strategy. I would like some different points of views, and I just felt like if we go with Ainge, it's gonna go, a similar route to several other times where we've hired a similar type person, and I'm just ready for new things, changes, people with fresh ideas, stuff like that. And that's why I want, a guy like Tayshaun Prince, who this Memphis team has a lot of talent on it, a lot of players that can play, a lot of players that play hard and that come in and know their role and stuff. And apparently he's been very good at recognizing that talent. And, Joe Cronin, I like what he said so far. He's got to go out there and do it. Yeah. He's got to prove himself. So I'm willing to give him a shot, see what he can do too. And I do like some of the things he says. He does seem an awful lot like how I would approach it, some of his philosophies and stuff like that. So, I'm not upset that we gave Cronin the job for now. I just hope that if we do choose a direction, that we stick to that direction and see it out. And hopefully he has both Chauncey on board, which it seems like he does, and more importantly, just getting Dame on board. If you're going to do some sort of full rebuild or retool around Dame, you got to make sure he's okay with that. If he embraced it, that would help out a lot, I think. Mm-hmm. I just want someone who's going to have some sort of game. I'm not saying Sam Hinkie type, but at least the guy had a plan, and it was probably never going to work with him as the GM, but at least he knew what he wanted and went out and got him. Or Sam Presti right now, they don't care about this season. They're just about acquiring picks and young players for the last year or so, and they've gone out and done it, right? So if you're going to rebuild around Dame, make sure you do it right. Make sure you make the necessary steps to give it a chance to work. Like I said, if you do take this year, you have to hit on the draft pick if you take this year, because if you end up because one of two things could happen. We could get unlucky like OKC last year and go from possibly having 2 top 5 picks to getting like the sixth pick or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't pick the right guy there, then that could be bad. So you could get unlucky with the lottery, I guess. But you could also, pick, someone who doesn't really like Golden State, for example. I still think Wiseman could be a good player, but he hasn't helped them at all. So you can't do that either if you get a top 3 pick. So you have to, if you're the GM, you have to have a plan and execute it well. There's not really any room for error if you're going to try to do it with Dame on this team. So you have to execute it perfectly. And that's asking a lot for a young GM, but I'd rather just have someone who has a plan and something new and does it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of that. I like Cronin, man. I'm down with Cronin. I'm cool with Cronin. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say with Cronin. We need to be creative. We're not in the position where we can afford to not be creative. You know what I mean? So, overall, like, it remains to be seen with Cronin, but, I'm down. I'm down with him from what I've heard. But, like, I mean, that's the thing is you can say all the right things, right? But, like, it's not hard to win a press conference. It's hard to enact what you want to. It's harder to enact what you want to do, right? It's easier to say you want to do certain things than it is to actually go out and do them. So, we have to wait and see on that. But I don't know. I'm down to talk a little bit about draft, right? Like, let's just say.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you know what? I'll pull up Tankathon here.
While you're doing that, let me just say what I was going to say earlier because it kind of ties in. So, okay, this is kind of crazy, right? But let's say, I don't know if we tank because Dame has surgery or whatever eventually this year, so he's ready for next year, or if it's just because we suck or whatever. But let's say we get a top 5 pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we also decide what we can get for basically everyone other than a few of those guys we mentioned, like a Nas or an Ant or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you trade CJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, trade him to New York or something. Maybe with the contracts, because we're talking about like Evan Fournier for 4 years and $17 million a year type bad contracts,
yeah,
right? I'm not saying I want that contract, but that could probably get us an extra first. So you probably get like three firsts from New York out of it,
Yeah.
And they basically have to trade him, but you could also try to reflip him or whatever. But
yeah, I was just gonna wait to start talking about trade ideas. Like, if we just brought up the draft, if we had a top 5 pick, like, okay. I wanted to do that. I wanted to simulate this for fun. All right. Like, we're 7th, right? And then talk about wherever we land, maybe what are some possible names. I haven't really looked at the draft enough, but let's just simulate this. It didn't sim lottery. I got to do it where you guys can't see. Let's see here. Sim lottery. All right, so we are 9th, 8th, not 7th. All right, so this means we got to the top 4. Let's see where we're at. We're 2nd. Okay. Top 3 is the goal, right? This would be a dream, okay? Top 3 is the goal, and there's 3 consensus top 3 players. There's Paolo Banchero, who plays for Duke. He's a Seattle native. Just had a clip of him saying, like, he liked Portland, like the Blazers growing up. The only NBA game he's been to is a game in Portland, right? So Paolo Banchero, power forward, 6'10", can score off the dribble, shoot off the dribble, has some playmaking upside, like, legitimate prospect. There's Chet Holmgren, 7'1", skinny, but like has like a 7'7" wingspan, plays at Gonzaga, is a rim protector, but can also like defend on the perimeter, has good feet, can shoot the ball, can handle the ball, can pass the ball. The biggest question mark with him is can he put on weight? And then Jabari Smith, 6'10", forward for Auburn, is the other guy. I'll let you talk about him, Eric, because this is your guy right now.
He's just a monster defensively. He's shooting the three, I want to say, somewhere 44, 45% right now. He's doing it both catch and shoot. He's one of the best catch and shoot 3-point shooters in the nation. And he's also developing quite the pull up off the dribble 3-point game, which is very cool to see. He's got post moves. He's got a mid range game. He's shown some flashes of passing ability. And he's like 6'10" with a 7'1" wingspan who can handle the ball. Great defender. Like kind of reminds me of a little smaller version of Mobley from last year, but more of like a wing version of Mobley. So yeah, it's he's very intriguing to me, and I think if we're talking about someone that would fit perfectly into what we need, it's that long rangey wing defender, not necessarily a center. So I would, to me, he's my number one prospect just because of both sides of the ball. Now, Banchero could get there if he improves his defense a little bit more, but I don't think you can go wrong with either of those two. So I would be looking at one of those two if we got up to two in this spot.
I was going to ask you how would you rank your top three, but Smith's number one.
I have Jabari Smith number one right now.
Say Jabari Smith went number one to OKC in this situation.
Yeah, I'm taking Banchero then.
You're taking is it Banchero or Banchero? I don't know.
I think it's Banchero, yeah,
Banchero, yeah. So I would rank them. So you go Jabari Smith, Banchero, and then 3. Would you put Holmgren?
Yeah, I'd probably put Holmgren right now. I'd still a lot of the other prospects I haven't really had a chance to break down too much, but
yeah, for sure. But I right now I would go Banchero, Holmgren, Smith. Mm-hmm. They're all 3 good.
I don't think there's a wrong answer here right now.
The thing is like if you were able to get up to 2 and get Banchero, like he has legit upside, legit shot creation upside, and we haven't had that forward that's like has that level of shot creation upside. And honestly, you could probably play some small ball 5. Now, defensively, he has a little bit of work to do, but like there's no reason why he can't be at least a solid defensive player. So like offensively, I think he'd be that second star. Could be that second star that we've needed for a while.
Think like Tatum to Boston.
Yeah, I think like he's been compared to like a bigger Jason Tatum. You know, I think Jason Tatum's a little quicker, Banchero's a little bigger, but has like a lot of the same shot creation qualities. So you get somebody like that, you're living good if you're Portland. The thing is, he's going to be making what, like $10 million a year or $10 million next year. So you get a player of that caliber that, like, honestly, I think Banchero will win Rookie of the Year next year. I think he's the most NBA-ready prospect of the top 3 of Holmgren, Banchero, and Smith. Not saying that those guys aren't NBA-ready. I just think Banchero's game translates very well. He'll be able to come in right away, and a lot of the stuff that he's able to score off of in college, he'll be able to score off of in the NBA. Obviously, growing pains with a rookie, but you have a potential like 18, 19 point per game scorer off the bat as a rookie, in my opinion, with Banchero. Like, I think he's going to be a really good rookie, and he's only making $10 million a year. So even if he's a little worse, like, he's on a bargain for what he's probably going to give you. So, like, that's why I have him number 1. If Portland just outright tanks and gets into the top 3 of the lottery, they might not even have to outright tank. They might, if they keep struggling and finish 10th worst, that pick can still get into the top 4, into the top 3. So overall,
also if we made other trades and had other picks, then we might have some room to move up a couple spots too if we got 5th or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like that's why I have him at number 1. Do you want to say anything more about him?
Well, it's kind of about both Smith and Banchero, but like,
yeah.
To me, you can still, like, Holmgren has a chance to be, like, a generational player if everything breaks right for him. But to me, in order to reach our full ceiling, we kind of have been missing that really good, big athletic wing. So that's why I would say this could completely change the direction of Dame's final years of his prime if we got one of those guys. Where with Holmgren, I'm not 100% sure Like, even if he is the best version of himself, I still feel like it's kind of like a Zach Collins, where initially you're probably a year or two away from him contributing a lot in the NBA.
For Holmgren?
For Holmgren, yeah.
I don't quite agree with that. Here's the thing. If we took Chet Holmgren, I would want to try to recreate what Cleveland has with Evan Mobley at the 4 and Jared Allen at the 5. Because Holmgren is skinny, right? Like, he's not strong enough to play the 5 in the NBA right now. But I think, like, when you're going up against 4s, I mean, what 4 is like a back to the basket, back you down, overpower you on the interior type of guy? And even then, like, he's given up weight, but he's 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan, so he can still defend, you know, in the low post and whatnot. Like, he's still fine down there. But, like, Chet Holmgren, the reason I like him is because, like, he has the foot speed to guard NBA 4s. Absolutely has the foot. Like, he's really good at keeping his defender in front of him. He's not going to get beat off the dribble much. He's really good at recovering and blocking shots if he does get slightly beat off the dribble. So he's not a guy that you can just attack on the perimeter. But then he's also, like, the best rim protector in this draft class, and maybe in many years, like, coming into the league. You know, outside of maybe Mobley, but, like, I think he has, like, a lot of similar defensive qualities as an Evan Mobley. So the hope would be you get him at the 4, like Cleveland has Evan Mobley, and then at the 5 it's Nurkic, or maybe it's, you know, maybe you go even better for a rim protector, like, I don't know, maybe a Miles Turner. You know, maybe you make a deal for Miles Turner. I think if you had Holmgren at the 4 and Miles Turner at the 5, like, defensively, even if you still absolutely suck on the perimeter, having, like, 2 guys like that on your back line is going to be... I like the idea of that, and they can both shoot. Holmgren can shoot. Miles Turner can shoot the 3 ball. So you have 2 3-and-D, like, rim-protecting bigs there, and Holmgren is just fine at the 4.
Yeah. I like what you're saying. I just... Yeah. I don't... It's going to sound like I don't like Holmgren. I just think it's... Yeah.
Like, what?
I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I just feel like having Vancaro or Jabari at the 4 and having, you know, a legit rim running center that's like a defender, like we mentioned, somehow get that player with some of our future picks would also be just as good. And offensively, I feel like it would be better initially because those guys are, I don't know, offensively I think they're just a little more ready to play than Holmgren, even though Holmgren can shoot, so I'm not saying it's like bad or anything, but against like LeBron or Kevin Durant or something, I just really want the athletic wing versus the rangy big playing the 4. But I see your strategy. I don't think it's like bad. I wouldn't think it couldn't work or anything. But
I just see the way, like, how good Cleveland has been defensively this year.
Yeah.
Right? With those 2 guys. And I feel like if you were able to get a combo of Chet Holmgren and Miles Turner, it'd be the same way. And both those guys can also shoot. So, like, you're just set there. Now you have to fill in the 2 and the 3, but, like, defensively, I think you're, like, that's such a great combination to have. I'm extremely intrigued by that. And I think Holmgren, that's the thing, is, like, Holmgren is, like, long-term probably projects as a 5 once he can put on weight. He's not ready to play the 5 now, but I think he's fine at the 4. He can shoot. He's smart offensively, picks his spots well. Short roll passer, like, he can pass the ball and put the ball on the floor a little bit. You know, like, he's actually a pretty good ball handler for his size. So offensively, I think he's fine. You know, is just a guy that can spot up, hit shots, play off guys, make the right pass, make the right play, and whatnot, and just function as a 4. Honestly, right now, I would probably rather have him offensively at the 4 than Robert Covington. So, and then defensively, I think I think as a rookie, he'll be better than Rocco at the 4. I think it'll be just as good. I think it'll be better defensively than Rocco has been this year, and I think offensively I would rather have Holmgren as a rookie than this year's version of Rocco.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hot take.
I mean, I'd rather have anyone than this year.
well, yeah. But, I mean, you know, that's the idea. But, like, I haven't watched enough of Jabari Smith, but I like his athleticism and how he handles the ball. Like, that playmaking, you know, ball handling forward that can shoot and projects as a really good defensive player. So, like, I'm fine with that. And then Mancaro, just the shot creation. So that's kind of the top 3 in the draft. That's, like, the guys you would take for. Now, let me thank the donos, and then we'll get into, like, potential trade ideas to go along with, like, if this year was a loss. So, you know, the CJ stuff, maybe Rocco stuff, Nurkic stuff, and whatnot. Shout out Most Welsh, $10 donor says, are you guys completely done for this year with this team? Obviously not as currently constructed, but do you think we just not let this blow out of hand and keep it around 500? Appreciate you, Mills Welsh. What do you think, Eric?
I don't think this iteration of the team is going to last very much longer, so I'm trying not to get too worked up about it either way, because the worse it gets, the more likely I think they'll make a big move. So whether that's to completely jump ship or to completely try to save the season, like Cronin mentioned in his introductory conversation. So yeah, I think I haven't given up on the season because, like I said earlier, I already know what's going to happen. We're going to go on a run and we're going to be in the play-in. We'll probably make the playoffs, keep our streak alive for that, and lose our pick and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't know if that's, unless the trade is so good that it's going to help us for the next few years as well, so we don't have this problem at any point in the next few years. I just have a hard time getting excited about that path right now.
Yeah. I feel like we need to go drastic upgrade or struggle. Yeah. You know, like we're like stuck in the middle here. We need to diverge.
Because if we overpay for someone, at least you can say, like, you like that they're giving Dame a chance and going all in, right? Even if it screws our future because we gave up 3 firsts or something. Like, I would hate it, but at least we made that move, you know, to try and do something. Whereas if we made the kind of trades like were suggested for a Jeremy Grant or like I don't know who, like the Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson thing. I just feel like that we're just rearranging the deck chairs without it actually ever being good enough to be the way we need it to be. And it might be good to rearrange the deck chairs for sure, but if you're talking about giving up assets to get a Jeremy Grant and kind of mortgaging some of your future and not being good enough to take a leap, that's where I'm going to start getting really mad if those are the kind of trades we're looking to do.
Yeah, that just makes me cringe, man. Like, Pascal Siakam, I'm still down for. Ben Simmons, I'm down for. But, like, the more we struggle, the less I'm actually down for Ben Simmons. Like, I'm down for him because we're struggling, but if we, like, really, really struggle, like, at that point, I'd almost just rather just go give up the year. And, like, because that's the thing, is we're struggling so much that I'm even more worried about the question marks that Simmons brings on the offensive end when we're playing offense so crappily, you know? So I'm still down for Ben Simmons, though. And then, like, Jaylen Brown, I would be down for, absolutely. I would trade Norm and CJ for Jaylen Brown and play Jaylen Brown at the 2 and, like, Nas at the 3. I would do Rocco, Norm, and CJ and maybe a first for Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown's still young, right? And then you play him at the 2 and hope that he figures things out. Like, he's came into the league and was a good defender initially, and then now kind of struggles. So hopefully he can, like, get back to what he was. You know, Jaylen Brown's probably my favorite potential target right now, and I think you'd have to give up like CJ, Norm, and Rocco in that deal. But I would do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. If Jaylen Brown becomes available, that's the guy you go all in for. Um, I'm I don't know how to put this, but I'm pretty much closing the door on the Simmons thing unless something drastically changed with Daryl Morey. And I don't think he's not going to come down on his asking price because then he looks bad. And if he does that, then he will get the blame if the trade doesn't work out. Whereas right now, I mean, there are people blaming him, of course, but like it's Simmons that's not showing up. It's Simmons that's not playing. It's Simmons that left the team or whatever. So I think he's the type of egotistical maniac that would actually just not trade him this year and just keep him until some team gives in.
Yeah.
And there's no way in heck I'm giving up 3 first and 3 pick swaps on top of CJ and other players probably. That's just I'm not doing it for Ben Simmons. I'm fine with CJ and Rocco, or maybe CJ Rocco and some sort of minor asset, but I'm not doing anything else with that trade. And then there's guys like Miles Turner who are wildly inconsistent. I just don't know if that really changes our upside that much. I'd almost rather get like a Nerlens Noel back in the New York trade, like I mentioned, for CJ, and get a bunch of draft picks and then use those picks to either acquire someone else or move up in a draft to get one of those guys or do something with them. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot of players out there right now that fit the would definitely change the course of this season that are attainable. So it's just tough.
Yep, I agree with that. We need to make like use Fanspo for your trade machine, right, Eric?
Yeah.
I know you like doing a lot, and I do too. Like just yourself with calculating things, but Fanspo is definitely better than ESPN. So use Fanspo, not ESPN. Fanspo is better. We need
Fanspo was making me mad earlier because I was doing a bunch of trades and it kept saying, "Oh, can't be traded till December 15th." I'm like, "It is December 15th. Stop it."
I think they let you like change that setting though.
Yeah, I think you can mess around with it, but like
Yeah, I will. Let's see. That's not supposed to be what popped up there. That is my OBS settings. No, not display capture. I added the wrong thing. We're just gonna freewheel this because I want to see what like a potential Jaylen Brown trade could look like salary wise.
Did you read Gray Hughes? Don't know.
Did we not read Gray? Do we leave Gray hanging, man? I can't believe it.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
Sure. Gray Hughes
how could we do that,
investigates with a $5 donation. Go check out his YouTube channel. He's a great guy. Hardworking, tough players overcome skilled players. Great players are hardworking and highly skilled, which are rare.
Yep. There we go. There's the Fanspo trade machine. I appreciate you, Gray Hughes. Go ahead.
That is my frustration with this team because if these players want to be great players and win a championship, it certainly doesn't come across that way, and that's been my most disappointing thing about this season.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I need to actually change this. Let's just go there. Cool, there we go. That's good enough. All right, so let's toss in.
And for the record, Powell can't be traded till the 15th of January.
Oh God! So I gotta change the setting. All right, so settings. Let's see here. Configurable trade settings include cap holds when under cap. Recently signed restriction. Turn that off. I think is the way to go. So yeah, this trade would have to happen after 15th if we included Norm Powell, but like around the trade deadline, if things are going bad for both these teams, there's rumors are increasing about Boston potentially splitting up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't know what Boston would want, but like if you do this package, that's $59 million coming in. So obviously they got to trade some salary back out. Jaylen Brown doesn't make a ton. You would assume it would be like Josh Richardson can be traded January 15th? What's the deal with Josh Richardson?
As far as I know, he's able to be traded now.
Okay, it just said RS on him, so recently signed, I thought it said. So, like...
Oh, did he sign an extension maybe when he got traded there?
I think so. So is he tradable at all this season?
I don't know. Now...
I wish there was like a note on it.
I'm seeing conflicting stuff about Smart now. I think they might have changed the rule, so he might be trade eligible right before the trade deadline now.
Yeah. This is just tough for them to get back all three of CJ, Rocco, and Norm, because I don't think if they're struggling, I don't think they're going to want to go way into the tax. They have a traded player exception. This one right here that they got from trading Evan Fournier to New York in a sign and trade, $17 million traded player exception. What that does is that can cancel out Robert Covington's salary.
Or Norm.
It's big enough for Norm. So they have no problem matching salary in this, although like trading out 42 normally wouldn't match for bringing in 59 million, but they can basically cancel out Norm's 15 million where they're trading out 42 for like 44, and that matches.
You couldn't combine it, but since one of the contracts fits in there, it's like a separate trade. Yeah.
Traded player exceptions cancel out salary that's less than the traded player exception. You can't like attach it to salary and have it add up to something. You can't cancel out half of somebody's contract by using like a $15 million traded player exception for a $30 million player. Basically, any contract that's less than the traded player exception can be canceled out by it. So this traded player exception, this is a CBA lesson for you guys, just so you know what's going on with potential trade ideas and whatnot. Evan Fournier's traded player exception that Boston has is $17 million. $17 million. Norman Powell this year is making $15.5 million, so it fits under that $17 million trade player exception. But it's a situation where Boston is $6 million over the tax right now. They're not going to go $23 million over the tax. They're probably going to try and duck the tax if they trade Jaylen Brown. So it gets tough. Like, let's say, I don't know, who's a third team that you could see wanting Rocco? Who should we add to this deal?
Chicago.
All right. So let's add Chicago. Let's send Rocco to the Bulls. All right. And then let's send our pick back to us. We might switch it around to Boston. But basically, we get our 2022 first back from Chicago, and then they have to match his salary. So what would be your solution for that?
Well, I mean, Derek Jones matches it, but we can't take him. This is that problem we had the last time, yeah.
And Boston's not going to want him. So, like, even if you send Robert Covington out somewhere else, still by taking CJ and Norm, even though they're sending out Jaylen Brown, Josh Richardson, and Hernan Gomez, they're still bringing back an extra $4 million, and I feel like they'd want to shed salary. Mm-hmm. So this is where it gets tough.
But we get way under the tax.
Yeah. But, like, this is where it gets tough. So, honestly, the solution to this, I don't like it, but the solution to this is to just goodbye Chicago, goodbye Josh Richardson, goodbye Juan Hernan Gomez, hello Al Horford. And then maybe you throw in, maybe they're still, even with Al Horford, they're still getting back $8 million more, so then maybe you trade Josh Richardson to Portland. Or you go back and you bring in, nope, not what I wanted to do. Maybe that's when you bring in Chicago. Let's bring Chicago back in here. Rocco to Chicago, Dirk Jones Jr. to Boston, our pick back to us. All right. So this is kind of the gist of it. probably throw in Josh Richardson now to Portland. Feel free to give any input on this. I'm kind of just doing this as we go. But all right, here you go. Here's like a feasible Jaylen Brown trade. It's not including picks. We'd be trading out probably a couple first-round picks to Boston, but Boston gets C.J. McCollum, Norman Powell, Derrick Jones Jr. They trade out Horford's terrible contract, Richardson, Jaylen Brown. They'd also need a couple first-round picks from us. But they get under the tax. They're $6 million over the tax. They shed $7.3 million there. And then we'd send them first. So CJ, Norman first, and they get under the tax. They shed $7 million for Jaylen Brown and a couple black contracts. What do you think, Eric?
I actually think they value Horford more than a negative asset. So
if they're struggling, you still think they do?
I don't know. Maybe not if they're struggling. But I also not sure if they would want CJ and Norm if they're struggling either.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Like with this type of trade, the other solution would be, so what would they want in a Jaylen Brown trade? What could be like our best way to pursue this?
I don't know. The hard part is I don't see Brad Stevens being there very long, so I don't know if he's like even going to be allowed to make this move, or it'll be the next person when he accepts like a college coaching job next year. But
like hypothetically, whoever's there, say Jaylen Brown is available, what do you think would be like the most feasible way for us to pursue a deal? Because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless they, I think they almost need to be kind of good, but there be problems with Brown and Tatum, if that makes sense. So they still want to win. So they're not like us where they're trying to like completely rearrange it. But yeah, I think it would just take a lot of picks and good players and probably a good younger player. How old is Tatum?
Tatum is 23 years old.
That's crazy.
He's still so young, I know.
So yeah, I would.
Go ahead.
I mean, this isn't what you asked, but I don't know if we have the right pieces that they want.
Yeah.
So you'd have to probably find, once again, a team. Like if they wanted a Ben Simmons and we're willing to, but then, Philadelphia might want Jaylen Brown over our package as well.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part.
if they're still trying to win but want to split up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and they're also still trying to duck the tax, I don't think this is terrible. They trade out Jaylen Brown, Josh Richardson, Horford, Hernan Gomez, get back CJ, Rocco, and Norm.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, with how bad we look, I could easily see a GM being like, I don't want to
add $10 million to our salary cap or a tax situation.
Yeah, see, at that point, then you would have to... I could see us, like, wave and stretching Josh Richardson, which would create a cap hit of 5 years for about $4 million a year. And then we shed $7 million, and then, like, we trade Nurkic and take back less salary. Like, I don't know. That's difficult. Anyway, that's the problems. See, this is good that we're doing this, because people will come here with trade ideas, but they're not taking into account salary. They're not taking into account the other team and what they want and all the potential pitfalls that do pop up when trying to make trades. So it's cool to do this live and show you guys like what are the issues going to be if we try and trade for Jaylen Brown. Everything we're talking about are all issues. Like, it's going to be really hard for us to do, unfortunately. So, I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to a potential Jaylen Brown trade?
No, it's just difficult. I think it's more more likely CJ and CJ and picks or whatever for Jaylen Brown if it's going to get done. CJ and Rocco for Brown and Hernan Gomez maybe, but I think adding Powell in there makes it really tough.
See, if it's CJ and picks, I feel like we gotta trade Rocco to Chicago and get our pick back. But like with how bad we are, we probably don't want to lighten the protections on our 2022 first. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the issue. That's the problem we run into. Yeah, I don't know. That's difficult. That's the problem. The worse we do, the less likely it is that we're going to want to like lighten the protections on the 2022 first. We owe Chicago, and it's less likely that even if we got it back, that we'd trade it unprotected or lightly protected if we're in the lottery. So that's why this is a perfect example of why teams are not making trades right now, and you probably won't see a meaningful trade for the rest of this month. Because a lot of trades are dependent on where a team's season is going, and it's still too early to definitively say where even Portland's season is going. Right now it's horrible, but like we don't know if we're going to be in the middle of the lottery, near the top of it, or like around the playoff line, or what, in the play-in. So that's why teams don't make trades this time of year. That's why they wait until around the trade deadline. That's why I was telling you guys not to expect anything. So, anyway, shout out to JM1231, $2 dono says, or maybe Bankero. We just talked about Bankero. Appreciate your dono. If you missed that, then definitely scroll back. Anyway, we'll talk more trades in the future, obviously, and use that trade machine to kind of show some of the things we're talking about. Some of the ideas we're talking about, because we've talked about some ideas, but it's easier to show them to you guys and talk our way through it like that. So, anyway,
Chop asked if we feel bad for Dame. Please don't spam chat too.
I feel bad for ourselves, our whole organization. That's all I got for that.
Dame wants to be here. He wants to be a part of the solution. Mm-hmm. He doesn't feel bad for himself, so I don't say that. But yeah.
Exactly. So we'll have a stream tomorrow on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live, going live around 3:30 p.m. We'll have picks against the spread. Then we'll talk more, trade stuff, draft stuff, whatever, any news stories that come out, and that type of stuff. So definitely join us. The link to our second channel is in the description box below. Eric, is there anything else that you want to say for the stream before we sign off?
No, I guess I'll save what I was going to say.
Was it long? I mean, we can go.
I mean, it's not too long, but it's up to you whether you want me to save it or not.
I mean, you could tease it and then say we'll talk about it tomorrow on Blazers Uprise Live, and that might get people to tune in.
All right. So my thing is, if you were able to convince Dame that the best decision this year was to have surgery and tank and to basically trade everyone and hit like a reset to where you could make a lot of moves, you'd have a lot of flexibility, you'd have a lot of cap space to convince free agents to maybe come here, and you basically just rebuilt this thing around Dame and maybe some of the young guys like Ant, Nas, Greg Brown, that kind of thing that scenario we brought up earlier. It's kind of just a thought process of what exactly we could do with like Norm, Rocco, CJ, how that would work, what would be the best way to flush out those assets and all those things. So
we could go through that entire scenario tomorrow. I'm down, because you can do that sort of thing on like Fanspo, string together multiple trades. So that will be a great thing for the show tomorrow, for Blazers Uprise Live tomorrow. What could hitting the reset button look like for the roster? Mm-hmm. The title will be something like that. So definitely tune in. We'll have picks against the spread, and then we'll do all of that stuff, and that should be fun. So That'll be Blazers Uprise Live tomorrow, going live around 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be on our second channel, not this one. The link to our second channel is in the description box below. I advertise it all the time. Now is the perfect time. If you haven't already subscribed to that, now is the perfect time to do so, to either watch that segment live or to watch it after the fact. So that'll be fun tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Anything else that you wanted to say, Eric?
No, thanks to everyone for watching, and it's always frustrating watching these games, knowing we have to have the stream, but it's always nice to come in and just talk about it and talk it out with all of you. So I appreciate you guys watching and allowing us the opportunity to share our frustrations with you, and we can all hopefully heal together. But it's very therapeutic to get on here, so I appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Yep. I echo those sentiments, and thank you to everyone who donated tonight. Sorry it wasn't a full graphics production. Hopefully Chris will be able to be back for the next stream. He's a big part of this post-game show now with all that he does as far as making graphics. So shout out to Chris, shout out to all the mods, shout out to all of you guys for making us a part of your Wednesday night. No game tomorrow, but a good stream, and then we'll have another post-game show on Friday. Maybe the Blazers can finally win a game against Charlotte. But until then, have a good rest of your night. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.